it was fascinating. What I sort of ended up taking from it was, from a training perspective, first of all, so much of being able to output power is just being more powerful. Like lifting heavy weights,
having more power to output.
Right, having more power to output
Sure.
is really key.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, it's not going to actually affect the way that you move unless you practice that. Or it will, but eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not, like, just because you're stronger doesn't mean your movement patterns are going to shift immediately to accommodate for that strength. You're still going to run like a slow guy, even though you are now powerful enough to be a fast guy.
And this is something that I've talked about with several of the players that I work with. Donnie Clark is the one who I remember talking about it with. The first year I met him when we were doing Rainmakers. With great power comes great responsibility. Like, the more power you have, the more force you're able to put into the ground, the better you have to be at putting it into the ground.
Yes.
Because if your movement is a little bit off, if you're putting it into the ground in a way that stresses your knee joint or stresses your ankle joint or whatever, the more power you get heading that direction, the bigger chance there is that you're going to injure yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and so there's structural alignment. There's where you're putting your limbs. Are you aligning your plant with your angle of force? And core stability is a huge component. And I think that's part of where I got worse at decelerating.
Did you just put that together just now?
Yeah, I just put that together just now. And that I had all this tremendous power sort of from the hips down. But actually being able to stop my big, meat proboscis that's standing up from my hips in order to react to that. Like, you have to have equivalent stability and strength in your core pillar in order just to mitigate all this force that you're now throwing.
Well, and I think what people think is, well, if I do all these bilateral movements where I'm loading up the core, evenly on both sides, I'm going to develop that kind of stability. But what they don't realize is the amount of asymmetry ultimate brings to the table makes it impossible to translate that force evenly through both sides when you're doing a bilateral lift.
Yes,
you're gonna use your good side more. And so that's why I find it so important to do a lot of core exercises that target one side and then the other side, and actually try and even those out a little bit. Because if they're even, you will get stronger.